Hey, it's Mariloe, and welcome to another episode of Let's Bloom, a chilled, safe space where not so chilled conversations happen for a woman by a woman. Today, I'm running this ship by myself, and it is an important conversation to have with yourself. We're diving into affirmations, we're diving into self-worth, we're diving into, just being at peace and how to get there. And all of this is just derived from my personal experiences. This conversation I speak very generally. You can stop and start it at any moment for all of these little nuggets to sink in, if you may. I want you to enjoy it, sit back, relax, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, have whatever it is that you desire to have, and just let these words sink in. In this episode, I just want to keep it so real. I'm a colored girl. I've had to reinforce certain affirmations, and I've had to make myself reiterate, repeat, and constantly reframe how it is that I connect with myself and others around me. And I got brought back to this thought of I am the longest relationship that I will ever have with myself. It is with me. It starts with me. It starts with that inner voice, that inner critic. However which way you've picked it up, whether you grew up and you were around people that were constantly negative, whether you latched onto certain content that was negative, maybe you started believing what was said about you at school, but all of these things always end up being external first, and what we resonate with, we internalize, and then it becomes a conversation that we have with ourselves. And a lot of the times we have negative self-talk. And that is what today's episode is about. How to reframe how we talk to ourselves. Because I think that there's a lot of incredible young women that I've met, a lot of talented people that I've seen, a lot of really just wonderful, wonderful women that I've met along the way that really don't have a good sense of self-talk. And so I've put together a couple of affirmations that you can come back to, revisit, that you can declare over your life at any point. As a Christian woman, I also include a lot of Christian affirming words that are biblical. And so it'll be a mixture of what I believe about myself and what the Bible says about me, and as well as just obviously a collection of juicy tidbits of affirming goodness that I think we all can benefit from. So here goes today's affirming your inner self. I think I just want to give you a personal story about how I ended up doing so much self-work. One of the things that happened to me. Obviously I was this, I couldn't say obviously, but I was this young girl that always knew where I was going. I always knew that I had a place in the art world. I didn't know how the business worked. I was really passionate. I still am passionate. And I was someone that always plunged right into it without even looking at the finer print or the detail. And I was just so alive. And in my very early 20s, I got the opportunity to leave the country, and I ended up doing that. And my mom and my parents, they were extremely supportive when it came to anything that it is that I wanted to do. And so off I went, and I came back, and I went to university. And I think what sort of had a that's the dog. That's Danger. I'm not cutting this part. So Danger's right here. Danger's so concerned with me. So what had caused the disconnect between my reality and how things were unfolding. I studied drama at the University of Pretoria. And but I also had this, obviously there were boys, I started meeting boyfriends and having this and all of those kind of things. And that's a conversation for another day, but I think I just want to narrow it down to the idea of having relationships, having romantic relationships, and having this big powerful dream, and also this incredible gifts, right? And I ended up choosing a relationship. I'm saying now choosing, but what I would have wanted to say was I fell into a relationship because I didn't want to take ownership. So I ended up choosing to have a relationship with someone that I ended up having a child with. And with that came so much pain. And I'm going to put this baddie on silence. With that came so much pain, and it came so much stuff that I had to work through, because now I have this beautiful daughter and I have this person that I have to deal with that is just so excruciating, and it's so painful to come to terms with the fact that I've made the choices that I've made. I have to deal with these consequences. Now, how am I going to navigate this for the rest of my life? And I think that's how I ended up embarking on this journey of how am I going to regulate my emotions? Why do I feel this way? How can I help myself in this? Like, I feel this insurmountable pain, this weighing on me, and I feel like, did I choose this? How could I have let this happen to me? So all of me pointing fingers at myself, internalizing the blame, just really devaluing myself in a very, in a quick way. It happened very quickly. And just my recollection of that time had also caused me pain. And so that's how I started to embark on this journey of, self-discovery, and also having to reinvent, and then also having to find the truth that I am redeemed, I'm not condemned, just also having to really deepen my spiritual relationship with God. And that's how all of those things had to come into play, restructuring my life with my family, framing what it is to be an artist, living in South Africa, being an artist, how I communicate and operate with other individuals, coming to terms with being diagnosed with ADHD, just all of those things, how, the fact that certain reasons why, when it comes to church, there's certain elements that is not put in place, or that doesn't align with who I believe I am internally. There's all of these different things that I've had to sort of work through, and that's why I'm at a point where, no one's coming to save us. And we have to really, really get into the trenches of those dark pits that in our younger years we might have digged for ourselves. And sometimes we stop. We think we're stuck, but we actually just stopped working on certain things. And I think it's imperative for us to constantly revisit certain elements of our lives, whether it is physical, whether it is emotional or psychologically, all of the different facets that we consist of. And that is where this comes from. So yeah, that's just a tidbit. And if you I would gladly elaborate on any one of the things that I've just discussed, if you may, and it'll probably pop up as we go along. But this is what I have to offer for today. And I want to thank you for listening, and stay locked into our community, because this is a safe space, and I want you to know that it really is a safe space. You can stay anonymous if you like to chat about something. You can say your name if you don't feel any shame, because there's no shame in feeling what it is that human beings feel. I think the beautiful thing is that we're able to talk and connect. So stay connected, and yeah, this is the offering for today. Today's quote is, "No one can make me feel inferior without my consent." Have a think about that. So I'm going to share 20 of my favorite, absolute favorite affirmations. Some of them that I believe, some of them that I am yet to believe. But I want you to take your time to listen to them, repeat them, and pause. Pause this clip at any point that you want to. And if you don't believe it, you can say it a couple of times. But what it would do is it'll just bring up a sense of awareness in you. And, I hope that experiences will find you that will test that ability or that belief or that affirming belief that you have about yourself. Here goes the first one. I am fearless. I am a child of God. I am honorable. I am loved. I am disciplined. I am deserving of love. I am healthy. I am limitless. I am wonderfully and fearfully made in God's image. I am a woman of substance. I am wise. I am beautiful. I am worthy. I am talented. I am deep and my sensitivity is welcome here. I am positive. I am optimistic. I am a beautiful flower. I am blooming. I am growing. And I am protected. And I think most importantly is I am at peace. And I think that's something that a lot of us grapple with. I grapple with. Currently, I'm at the height of experiencing peace. Because I realize that a lot of the times we choose to not experience peace because we hold on to what has happened, what is about to happen, and we are so focused on replaying those situations or replaying the tape in our mind that we create more and more and more dialogue that is negative around any specific kind of ordeal that we've been through. And we relive that and we create a pain for ourselves. And I'm not saying that this is the easiest thing to do, but it sure is a very quiet place to be in when you release yourself from what you cannot control. So as a brown girl, to another girl that's listening, my hope for you, my wish for you, my prayer for you, as I sit in solitude for you, is that you experience a peace that passes all understanding. Because with that peace, I have now gathered my ducks in my brain to understand that nothing is in my control. And this includes a level of faith that has to be applied, And by doing the application, filling out the forms for faith, it has brought me to this place of feeling rest. That it is not my battles that are mine, that I have left it to who has created me, my manufacturer. I mean, biblically it says that God will grant us a peace that passes all understanding. And I'm quite a bit of an extremist, so sometimes really hectic things need to happen to me before I surrender, because I do have a sense of perfectionism and I want to control things. And I think we all have, to a degree, a level of wanting to control things. But when you realize you cannot, you release and you settle into a place called peace. And it just kind of shuts down certain tabs in your mind that are looking for solutions that you possibly can't find. And the strangest thing is sometimes the solutions come when you're in a place of peace, because you're not working from a place of desperation at the end of the day. So Here's a few things that I found makes it a lot easier to bear with yourself and to also start living your own life. A lot of the times we look at social media, we look at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and it just seems like life is just so fantastic. But we don't realize that those are just glimpses that people choose to show us. And once we start showing up for our own lives and looking at it and saying, what is it that I don't like about my situation? What is it that I don't like about this area of my life? Where is it that I'm lacking? Where is it that I feel the most discomfort and unhappiness? Can I have a look at that, reevaluate that, and figure out what does it look like for me to be happy in this area? And then start by bit, day by day, chipping away at the things that it is that we do not like about that area of our lives. And what I found is, what was helpful is that it's not comparing yourself to anyone else's life. Don't compare yourself. That is the thief of joy. Stay in your lane. Celebrate your small little wins. There's I don't know, I read something that said that the overnight thing comes after a couple of years. So a lot of years pass by and then overnight something changes. But it's a few overnights that things start changing. There's no magic formula to just showing up and being joyous and happy all the time. It is a level of practice. I mean, you also have to get good at not being concerned about what anybody else has to say about you and be so concerned and consumed about what God has to say about you. And then the other thing is, we mess up as human beings. We try, but as long as we continue to try to stay on course, on par with our integrity, with our values, that we exercise a form of compassion for ourselves, because we can extend that so easily to other people. But I think that guilt and shame traps us. And so even just creating this podcast and being so honest about certain things in my life is my way of saying that there's no shame that will cover up me, my truth, and my gifts. There's no amount of shame that I will allow, because shame enjoys the sense of secrecy. If it can be kept under wraps, it looks bigger than what it really is. And then when you end up sharing it and it comes to light, you realize that it's not that heavy anyway. So if I could encourage you, if there's anything that you think you're keeping in secrecy because you're ashamed of it, I encourage you to share that with someone and realize that it's not that heavy of a burden to carry anyway, but that's what the enemy enjoys. The enemy enjoys the sense of secrecy that we hold in our guilt and in our shame. I think the biggest, and well, I think I've heard this quite often, where people say, I'm finding myself, and it's fantastic. You can find yourself, but I think you have to really go to the manufacturer. Who is it that created you? And go and find yourself, your identity in that. Because the biggest thing for me is knowing that I have a loving God that absolutely adores me and loves me and knows me by my name. There's no one that can point a finger at me and say, but this or this or this or this. I know who I am in Christ at the end of the day. And so even if I have my shortcomings, and I can tell you about my shortcomings and I can be honest about them, and I'm trying to be honest about them, but I do know that I'm strengthened through some incredible, omnipresent force that will never leave me. And that's why I feel strong enough to share, because I don't look weak. It's just that God's strength is it's made perfect through my weakness. And so, like I say, sharing this podcast is a big deal for me, because I've been sitting on it for a year saying that I'm going to record it, I'm going to record it. And now I've been brought to a point where I have no choice but to record it, and I didn't listen to the prompt, and now I'm in the prompt. And I would love to hear from what you have to say. It was my deepest honor to share that 20 affirmations with you, to share with you my story. And I hope to share a little bit more in the coming future. And I want to leave you with this one specific thought. No one is coming to save you. If there's an idea that you have not executed, if there are things that you need to write, if there's an application that you need to fill out, if there is whatever opportunity to better your life, no one is coming to save you. You are the only one that can actually action those things out. So that's something to think about. Like I say in every single podcast, stay kind to your mind. Stay kind to your mind. It is an integral part of your existence. You can look after your body, you can look after all of those things, but stay kind to who you have the longest relationship with, which is you. And stay soft with yourself. Forgive yourself. And in turn, forgive others. Because that is how we can slowly but surely make our way to a place called peace. It was my absolute honor. Thank you so much for listening to me. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on social media. But most importantly, know that you are welcome in this community and your voice matters. So pop me a voice message. We'd love to play it on the show. And until next time, bye-bye.